the debt ceiling for a moment. We are just 1 month away from March 1st. That is the budget sequestration deadline. If Congress fails to agree on specifically where to cut $85 billion, we are looking at automatic across-the-board cuts. House Republicans have made it clear that they're ready to let the sequester happen. Joining me now for more on this is Democratic Congressman Schrader. Thank you so much for joining us. What's going to happen? I mean, that's what we're all wondering. It feels like we're just cruising towards this deadline. What's going to happen?
Well, I'm worried, Melissa, to be very honest with you. You're right. If we don't get our act together and do something thoughtful on tax reform and the social safety net that Americans count on, we're going to have these across-the-board cuts. Why even have Congress cut up a bunch of chimpanzees doing this, for goodness sakes?
Well, don't tempt me. I mean, sometimes, I don't know. I mean, you sort of stopped me dead in my tracks with that one. Is something going on behind the scenes that we don't know about it? Because it seems like we're not getting any closer, but that's what it seemed like last time with the debt ceiling, and there was so much hemming and hawing, and then at the last minute everybody got together. So is it the same thing?
Well, I hope so. I mean, I am working with a bunch of folks, part of this No Labels group. We can have Republicans and Democrats get together, talk about solutions, trying to figure out, is there a different way to go? I don't think tax reform is dead on the table. Corporate America really is trying to get behind this. The Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget is all over trying to get us to address the real meaningful issues of revenue reform in our country. Same thing on the entitlement side. A lot of Americans want to pretend that there's no problems with Social Security and Medicare, but they're in danger of not being there for our kids and grandkids. And their solutions have been put out since the Bull-Simpson report that we should be talking about in a constructive manner.
Yeah, and that nobody really wants to do. But, you know,
they don't want to do it.
Yeah, Paul Ryan comes out, and he makes it sound like Republicans are really willing to go ahead with the sequestration. And I think that might be the truth. I mean, I don't think that's a bluff, especially when you look at what happened with the debt ceiling debate and you look at how they feel like they've lost all power and all sway. It makes just plowing head first into the sequestration look not that bad, because maybe it's the only way to get real cuts done.
Yeah, but the question is, are they the right types of reforms that we need? We've already cut the discretionary budget, and Paul knows this, by $1.7 trillion, which is as much as we had estimated doing back with the Bull-Simpson report. What we need to be doing is putting the revenue piece on the table and making sure that Medicare and our health care system doesn't bankrupt America going forward. Paul's not addressing that.
We put the revenue piece on the table. I mean, everybody's taxes went up. At the beginning of the year, 77% of the population saw their taxes go up. So when you say something like, now we need to put the revenue piece on the table, I think that's what baits Republicans, because they feel like, hey, we did that. And then the president came back and he said, guess what? That's just the beginning. You know, we took your lunch. Now we're going to steal your backpack.
Well, the question is, we increased the rates on the top, 1% of the population. We didn't do anything about reforming the systems so small businesses can get started, and so you can figure out your own taxes at home. We could actually lower rates, get rid of a lot of the loopholes that are out there, make legitimate money off this, and put America in a much better competitive position globally.
Hey, I love that idea, but is anyone about that anymore? I mean, I haven't heard real tax reform in terms of lowering the rate, broadening the base, closing the loopholes. No one's. I mean, you're the first person I've heard mention that in a little while.
Well, Speaker Boehner was talking about that. Even the president had talked about that for a little while. It's the only way out of this, and it's not all about the revenue. It is indeed about making more changes in some of these programs that we count on going forward, but people are afraid because of politics to address, and I think that's doing a disservice. I had 2 town halls in the last 2 days, and I talked about this to folks. Folks aren't excited about these issues, but they understand we need to talk about them and get our social safety net in order for these our kids and grandkids.
You make so much sense. So what's your bet on what's going to happen here? What kind of deal is going to get done? When's it going to get done? What's your bet? Come on.
I don't know,
Who's going to win the Super Bowl? Is that easier? You want to do that? What's the point spread there? That might be easier.
That's probably a lot easier, unfortunately. Every time I guess wrong. The sequester would be bad public policy, but one thing Congress does very well, and that's nothing, unfortunately.
You taking the Ravens or you taking the Niners? Come on.
I'm a West Coast guy. I'm for the Niners,
okay,
man.
All right, good for you. That was a lot of fun. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. You're a good sport.
Thanks, Melissa.
So this sequester sounds